According to our next guest, the one thing that all great leaders and all great organizations have in common is trust. Trusted leaders are followed. As trust increases, costs, problems, and skepticism go down, and morale, productivity, and innovation go up. Ultimately, if things go right, that leads to higher revenue. David Horsager is the CEO of the Trust Edge Leadership Institute. I was so impressed with the talk he gave recently that I invited him here on the show to share his thoughts with you. So good to see you again.
Great to be here.
I loved being in the audience, so now even better that I get to ask you some questions myself. So you talk about, let's focus on the trust of your employees. It sounds, of course, it's important for your employees to trust you, but how important is it?
This year in the Trust Outlook, our global study, 6,000 people, 10 countries, #1, ahead of being, getting a pay raise, ahead of more autonomy, ahead of more benefits, and ahead of a fun environment, employees wanted to trust their senior leaders more than anything else. I'll follow you.
Okay, so tell me, I am, let's just say I'm I'm leading a team here. I think I'm trustworthy, right? But somehow I've created an environment where people aren't that happy, right? They've got good benefits. I'm giving them raises. Yeah. We're all very clear. Somehow it feels like people don't trust me. What am I doing wrong?
Well, I'm
not being deceitful.
Right, but the 8 traits came out of the research, these 8 components of the most trusted leaders and brands and organizations. So you start looking at those as an example. Clarity. All over the world, I see organizations and leaders that think they're clear when they're not. People trust the clear, and they mistrust or distrust the ambiguous. They also, yesterday I'm working with one of the biggest companies in the world, they also mistrust or distrust the overly complex. That company is not trusted because they might have a breath of arrogance where we got to over-complexify this, and whenever we over-complexify something beyond what is needed, we lose trust immediately. So people trust the clear, they trust the high character, they trust the compassionate, those that have intent beyond themselves. We trust those that are consistent. So you might even trust...
And I'm just going to write these down. So clarity, not complex, compassionate, consistent.
Yeah.
3 more?
Yeah, there's committed. We trust those. If you think of anybody in history or in your life that has left a legacy, your mom, Mandela, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Jesus, or Joan of Arc, and they were trusted because of their commitment to something beyond themselves, often to death. So commitment is a component.
2 more.
Connection, the ability to connect and collaborate. When you think of when General Motors and Ford, fierce competitors, put their R&D departments, built that new high-performance transmission together when Chrysler's doing it on their own, it was unbelievable that they would even do that, and they saved some $100 million doing it in 90 days because they were willing to connect and collaborate. So connection and collaboration. The competency is a big one, and that came out of the study, by the way. This willingness and desire to stay fresh and relevant and capable. We want leaders that put us in a place where we can stay fresh, relevant, and capable. In fact, 76% of those respondents said we would trust our company more if they just trained us more, if they just gave us development opportunities like leadership. They wanted leadership and personal development way over technical.
And frankly, and unfortunately we have to end here, and frankly, I think we all know where our gaps are. If we really sat there with all of those terms and said, really, really, am I that compassionate? Really, am I that, making it clear, whatever it is. All right, this is a good start to help us start to think about it. It's clearly very important. All right, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Great to be here, JJ.